Look who I found. It's TJ. Found him hiding under a rock. And he drove my happy ass down here. Is there? So he came down to Shore Acres in Oregon. It's supposed to be some big waves. So we're going to attempt to shoot him. If not, I'll throw TJ off the cliff and shoot him while he's doing a dive into the water. That'd be pretty awesome. I guess I'll get caught, so I better not do that now. All right. Anyway, we're going to go get set up, wait for the high tide to come in, and hopefully get some good waves.
What?
Huh? So we're getting some pretty big waves here. Shooting probably 100 feet up after they hit the rock. Yeah. So we're gonna go change lenses.
Get out my ruler.
Yeah, he'll go run up to that rock. I'm gonna grab my I'm gonna grab my 16 to 35. He's gonna put something else on, trying a little bit wider angle. And then, because I've got my 100 to 400, he has a 70 to 200. He's got his little bag. It's actually my bag, but his stuff is in it.
And it's useless.
And it's useless, so he says. But he is too, so.
I named it Randy. It's useless.
They can't expect much from it. So here's a wave coming in. So that's what we're shooting. So it's pretty cool. So we're gonna go change lenses and get back at it. So I came around to the other side, walked around from the point. See all these cool rock formations and whatever that thing is right there. As you can see, some pretty big waves coming in. I tried my 16 to 35 lens from where I was at. It was just way too wide. I don't have a 24 to 70 anymore. I traded that in for my 100 to 400 G Master just because of problems I was having with it. Oh, here's a big waves. So we are gonna sit here for a little bit. Maybe put my 100 to 400 back on, just shoot the waves coming in. Maybe try for like 1/4 second shutter speed to get some movement in them, 1/8 of a second, something like that. But until then, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing and keep watching the big waves because it's quite the show. So it is now the next morning. We are staying in Bandon. We came down to the beach. See all the sea stacks out here. We're gonna photograph. Tide's still pretty high.
Blue water too.
But blue water, so that's nice instead of kind of brown like yesterday. Got some good shots of the waves yesterday though. Let's see. Tide's still in. It is going out, but still pretty high. So we don't know what we're gonna shoot yet. Just keep walking the beach, trying to find something.
Oh, I know where to go.
Oh, apparently TJ knows where to go.
He's been here a time. 15.
He's been here a lot because he thinks he's awesome, but he's really not. So once we get set up, we'll talk about what we're doing, what we're shooting, shutter speeds and all that stuff, get some movement in the water. So we'll show you what we got going on. So I found a composition I like. I've got the rock here in my foreground. I've got the howling dog in the background. See the waves starting to come in. Hopefully they'll hit the rock. And I've got a shutter speed of 0.4 of a second, f14. Oh, here we go. Got some little bit of wave action going. Show some movement in the water. I do have one cool shot that I really like. The wave came in and kind of leads your eye all the way to the howling dog. So it's a pretty cool line of foam. So you can see what I've got going on here. If I look at the photos, so you can see you got the foam in the rock, the howling dog, and then just kind of scroll through. I think it's this one here. You can see the foam starts there and kind of winds its way through the photo. So I'm gonna keep shooting this. I may grab TJ. He didn't bring his waterproof boots out. They're in the car still. So he's got his telephoto on. I may grab his camera for him, bring it down here, but we'll see what he wants to do. I think I'm gonna try, there's this rock right there. I may move over to that one because with the tide going out, you can see the foam's kind of staying that way now. So I think I may do that and try and come up with a different composition. So I think I got a few shots. I went down to another rock closer to the sea stack and had to run out a couple times because the big wave was coming in. But hopefully I got some shots from there. We are now heading off south, hit another beach just down the road, and then we're gonna eventually hit the Redwoods today and then come back up. Where else are we going? Pelican Bay? We're gonna go to prison.
Gold Beach and then the Boardman Corridor.
Gold Beach and then Boardman Corridor, I guess. So I'm gonna hit that, get out of here. I'm getting hungry too, so I better grab some food while we're in the car. So until our next destination, see you then.
Bye.
TJ says bye. Yeah. Well, we made it to the Redwoods, finally. Took us a bit because we kept stopping. Unfortunately, the fog has lifted. There's no more mist. TJ is shooting something.
Trees.
He's shooting trees because there's lots of them. You can see over there he's shooting something. I have been eyeballing a tree that's lit up by the sun, which means I should probably get shooting it so before the sun goes away. You can see it right there. See how it's just lit up? And you have the light rays coming through. So I'm gonna get my tripod out. I did a couple handheld shots just to kind of get a feel of where I should be standing. So I'm gonna grab a tripod, get all set up, and I'll walk through my settings. So I've gotten a couple shots. Back by the car, there was a sun was shining through the trees, kind of lit up the little bit of mist that is here, and it was glowing really nicely on the moss on the trees. So I got some of those. TJ got some of those as well. In fact, he's the one that found the composition. I just stole it. Now I'm just kind of wandering around, trying to find something. But I did bracket my exposures, and then I dialed it at f22 so I can get a nice starburst. So I took those three, and I stick my finger in the photo to block the sun so I can get rid of the sun flare in the photo when I get them open up in Photoshop. So now it's just kind of wandering around. I'm terrible at forest photography, so I'm just looking for anything I can find, something with some nice light rays. I may go grab my 100-400, try that, just getting in tight on some things. Unfortunately, the tree that I was going to shoot, by the time I got everything ready, the sun had drifted off it, so I never got a shot of it. Like I said, I may go grab my 100-400 and just get some tight shots. But as you can see, we are in the Redwoods. You see how big this tree just is. Super tall. So it's pretty cool. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Struggling, looking for something, trying to figure out this forest photography thing, but I don't do it that often, even though I think I should, but I just don't really get out and do those shots as much as I should. So I'm gonna keep working, see what I can find, and hopefully get something good. So we just drove down the road a little ways to some grove of redwoods. I've been kind of struggling, but I found with the trail coming in, I can kind of go from center of my frame, kind of out the corner. I got this fern kind of in the foreground, big redwoods, and it's kind of lit up here on the top. You see my settings f13, that way most of it's in focus. 8 seconds, ISO 100. I go 8 seconds because just there's no wind, there's no nothing here, so I can go a fairly long exposure, not have to worry about higher ISO, but I may bump it up a little bit just to shorten the shutter speed. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty good photo. I don't know where TJ went, I got bugs on me. TJ kept going around the trail, so he's probably over yonder somewhere. So I'm gonna get a couple of these shots and move on and try and find him. So we came down to Myers Beach for sunset. You can see that there is possible potential, but there's also that marine layer on the horizon, which can kind of ruin everything. And also the downside is the tide is coming in instead of going out, so that does not help. Because what you really want is just something like this, how it's just all reflective. And if the tide's going out, it kind of always stays like that. But if the tide's coming in, you kind of always have to keep moving your tripod back and back and back. So it's kind of a bummer. But the biggest reason we came down to shoot the waves yesterday, and we got some awesome shots doing that. So we are going to try and hopefully get something for sunrise or sunset, whatever time of day we're at. TJ's up flying his drone right now around the beach area. I don't know where it is. So once I get set up, kind of let you know what I'm doing, what my composition is going to be. I may actually like head up the hillside over there, maybe get the telephoto out. I don't know, do something here, but I'll get figured out, and then I'll come back and tell you what I'm doing. So I decided to do some long exposure while I'm down here. I'm currently waiting for my last exposure to show up. You can see I've got f/18, 100 ISO. I think my normal exposure is right around 13 seconds. So I just have my Lee 6 stopper on. Like, actually just finished up, so let's see what it looks like here. So yeah, I think that looks really cool. Nice streaking clouds. So I think it should turn out pretty good. Like I said, unfortunately, because the tide is coming in, it's really making it tough because I get a shot set up, then I have to grab my tripod and run. So that kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is, because that's just the time we came out. Tide's coming in during sunset. So anyway, I think the long exposure is looking pretty cool. I'm gonna keep doing this for a little bit longer, see what else I can come up with, and then maybe head back up to the car, maybe get out the telephoto and do some more intimate shots. So don't forget one more thing. Whenever you're shooting at the ocean, never turn your back on it. Always have one eye on it, especially if the tide's coming in, because you never know when a sneaker wave is going to come get you, take you out and wash you out to sea, whatever. So that's like the few times I have my eye in the viewfinder, I've got the other eye open, just kind of watching the ocean. Because this morning we had a couple that came in, and because we were paying attention, we grabbed everything and took off, ran out of the way before it took us down. So just a little PSA on, you know, shooting around the ocean. Never take it for granted. Always assume that something can happen to you when you're here. So anyway, I'm gonna go down by TJ. You can see him down over there. See what he's got going on. So we kind of lucked out. We are getting some color. You can see, especially, unfortunately, like good stuff's like over there where it doesn't help us at all. But hey, some's better than none. So TJ's right there shooting. I don't know if he's got the grass in the foreground probably. I probably have these logs in the foreground, but I can't see them in the dark part of the shadow. So anyway, we're just gonna shoot here until the clouds go colorless, and then work our way back to Bandon. So we came back down to the beach at Bandon, and we came to the south side of where we were yesterday. You can see here, I actually found the wizard hat, that little rock. You can see in my camera there why it looks like a wizard hat. I've got my Sony 100-400G master lens on, and right now I'm currently at f/18, ISO 50 with a shutter speed of 4 seconds. That way it gives me a little bit of movement in the water. Yeah, I can go f/11, you know, whatever, but it's just too fast and the water just stops. So this way there's a little bit of motion in it. Just kind of blur out the water but make the wizard hat really sharp. TJ is actually up flying his drone. Then after we're done here, we're gonna start heading north. Unfortunately, because this time of year, you know, it's what, January 3rd, I think, the tide is just really high. You know, the low tide is high, the high tide is really high, and so you can't really get close, and it's high tide during sunrise and sunset. So I just decided to put the G Master on the, you know, the telephoto. It's more of a scouting mission now, because we're going to come back out here probably April, May, when we know the tide's going to be out. Now we can get right up close to the wizard hat, right up close to all the other sea stacks, get the nice wet sand, good reflections. Whereas right now, as you can see, there's no really reflections of anything because the water is just so rough and such a high tide. So I'm gonna sit here and shoot this for a little bit. Maybe put on my 6-stop, get a really smooth water in my photo. And hopefully that'll turn out. Chances are I may go black and white with these, maybe. The blue water is looking pretty good, so unfortunately that's another problem with the waves right now. There's just so many of them, but everything's just white. Later in the year when there's not as many waves, the color of the water just gets really blue and looks really good. So I'm gonna sit here and shoot this for a bit longer and then head back up and start heading north. Well, we're on our way back to Seattle. Stopped at Thor's Well. So I've never been here, so we thought we'd check it out. Too harsh a light to even bother photographing it, so I may take a quick video with my phone or something, but probably about 5 hours from Seattle by the time we get there. But anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, especially to TJ as well. Even though he wasn't really in the video, thank God, because I mean, look at that beard, Jesus.
Beautiful, majestic, very Santa Claus.
Very Santa Clausy. Anyway, thanks for watching, and here's some of the photos we took this weekend.